Hello, everyone. Welcome the GABA test. A much fought after, or should I say, a much sought after draw if you're a fan watching this game. A lot of start and stops, rain coming in, the entire day being washed out, the first day, and for that matter, the second day as well. A lot of stops in between throughout the game as well. So eventually, it was Australia versus India plus rains, which eventually helped us secure a draw and go into the fourth test 1-1. So, Abhay, your thoughts on I don't know what to speak about because we have seen more of rains than actually the contest between bat and ball. But whatever little bit of cricket you saw, your thoughts on the game.
I would have loved a result rather than a draw. But anyway, a draw is great from India's point of view, not from Australia's. However, I would have loved to have our batting tested for the 60 overs to defend 275 or to chase 275. What could have been the approach? I'm sure with Gautam Gambhir and the legacy of coaches that we have had in the last 10 years, we would have gone for a win. But it would have been interesting. I would have loved to have a result, even if the result would have been in Australia's favor, most likely. But
But
overall,
I'll
if
tell you
you
that change.
ask me,
Yeah, please
but
go ahead.
overall, if you ask me, happy from India's point of view. Australia committed a couple of blunders, I would say, when it came to declarations. Maybe even they did not trust the weather as much, or they did not trust their batsmen even, or or they did not trust India in a way.
Maybe they didn't trust their weatherman, like how we are used to doing, or whatever they say, the opposite happens. So sort of maybe the rain was predicted, but they batted a little longer to push that game. But
Yeah.
before I cut you off, when I was trying to speak, right, you spoke about you would have loved to see how the mindset of the batters is. What really set me through was, if you look at Jaiswal, he got out in the first innings trying to play the flick and was caught at short mid wicket by Marsh, right, on the very second delivery. When he came into bat in the second innings, a very similar, or rather the exact same ball was bowled by Stark. Left arm over the wicket, bowled at his pads, angling into him. He played a similar shot. The only difference was, like, this time he was a lot more in control. He let the top hand just do,
Yes.
or basically get hang of the bat, and he didn't push at the ball. He played with a straight bat. He didn't try to close the face of the bat, try to flick it away using the bottom hand. Using the top hand with a straight bat, he just flicked it, or rather just pushed it into the gap between mid wicket and mid on, and got a single. So I think that shot really showed us the mindset of what the Indian players were out there for. That they were definitely not down with a fight, and more than that, they had actually calculated, or sort of gone back to the drawing board, as we say, identified their mistake and trying to work on it. At least that one shot gave me that confidence that okay, the players are analyzing their game and working on that. But talking about analyzing, what do you have to say about the way Australia batted, especially in their second innings? Yes, they were about 80 for 6 or 7 wickets down. The Indian bowlers got some very good caught behinds. You look at Mitchell Marsh wicket, Steve Smith wicket, Max Sweeney wicket. Think when you look at it, it seems like a proper bowler's wicket rather than the batsman trying to throw. But do you think it is because the Australian batters were trying to set a target or score some quick runs that we saw those wickets, or you would credit it to the Indian bowlers' abilities and the way they bowl?
I would credit the Indian bowlers and their ability to take the wickets. I thought they bowled exceptionally well. The batters who got out did not get out trying to go for big shots. I think the batters like Travis Head got out playing those big hives or Cummins, but the top five were out for, I think, good deliveries. In fact, if Steve Smith gets out caught behind on the leg side, it's a wicket-taking delivery because of the amount of shuffle he has for each ball. If he gets out that way, it's actually the best ball to bowl at him. So I think credit to the bowlers. I thought. 33 for 5 was a great outing for India. If we would have squeezed it even more, we would have been having a target of about 250 or 240. Who knows? I mean, Australia could have been all out at 50. But I think that's what, after having reduced Australia for 90 for 7, I was hoping that we could get a game out of it, and have India face the challenge of chasing 275 in 60 overs and see what happens. But having said that, you're right when you say that it was the wicket that assisted as well, and some good bowling, obviously, and that great man Bumrah did complete his usual outing of the day by taking a quick couple of wickets at the start of the innings. Having said that, uh, what do we do of this man called Travis Head? Rishabh, any thoughts on him and his batting? Even in the first innings, he scored again a run ball, almost 150. Any thoughts on him and how crucial it is going to be for us to get him out early for the next two test matches?
So I'll tell you what. Apart from people being happy about the draw, people were happy about another fact that Travis Head is injured. He's got some groin strain or something, which is why he's injured. And even during the post-match presentation, where he got the Man of the Match award, he was asked about it. He said that yeah, it should be good in a couple of weeks. Pat Cummins then in the post-match press conference said that he should be there for the next game, but by that time, the social media had erupted reading the fact, because there were a lot of people who were tweeting that Travis Head's participation going into the next test is doubtful. And that word doubtful gave us so much satisfaction that everyone forgot about win, loss, draw, and these words. Travis Head, doubtful. That's it. That's all people were happy about, and all were sharing those tweets around, around on social media. But you said it very rightly. I think he's been a pain in the head. What he the way he's been playing. But I think that India have finally found a way to bowl to him, for the simple reason that the over in which he got out to Mohammad Siraj, there was a stump mic conversation between Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, along with Mohammad Siraj, where Rohit Sharma was telling Siraj that bowl from round the wicket. But Virat Kohli said, नहीं, over the wicket डाल और उसको हाथ खोलने का चांस मत दे. So that was that wicket, even though it came as if Travis had threw his wicket, you could actually see that there was at least some sort of planning behind that. Because Siraj came from over the wicket, was trying to cramp him, not let him free his arms playing that cut shot, which gives him more of about 60-70% of his runs. So that shot, or basically that planning, got us the wicket. So going into the next test, it feels as if the Indians have at least got some idea in terms of what to do and what not to do. But the kind of player Travis Head is, sometimes you have these menaces, right? That you just can't do anything about it. You just have to live with it. Just be happy when it does not impact you, or when it does, just put your head down and say that that's life and move ahead. So I think Travis Head is that kind of a menace for us. They really need to figure out something. But if this plan or this stump mic conversation and Travis Head's wicket falling immediately after that has some resemblance, or basically proves the fact that there is little bit of planning involved, then I think we are really well sorted for the next two tests.
Yeah, so it looks like if it is round the wicket for a right arm bowler, then it has to be a shot of good length starting outside the off stump, which then ends up on the off stump or top of off stump. And if it is over the wicket, it seems it should be within the stumps, shot of good length. But just don't give him any room to free his arms. It looks like that's going to be the strategy for the next four innings that are crucial to win this test series, in fact. Yeah, good points, Rishabh. One more thing. Um, Now we spoke about Travis Head, right? What are your overall thoughts about the batting for India? We still have the woes of our batting not performing at its best. What are your thoughts? Do you see any changes going in the next Test match that we play in Melbourne?
I don't seem like they will, because we don't really have any change options to make changes in the batting order if you go by the looks of it. Sarfaraz, Jurel, these guys, because the middle order is packed, right? Pant, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli are going nowhere, right? So you don't see Jurel or Sarfaraz Khan coming in because that's the number they play at. Talking about the top order, I think KL Rahul again, fantastic innings under pressure when everyone was going back to the pavilion. Even though how much ever start and stop game it was, he stood there. He took his time and he batted out deliveries. That's what Test cricket is all about. That's what we remember Pujara for buying out time. That's exactly what he did. He did get a 50. So again, KL Rahul there. Jaiswal, I think it's just there in his mind, which he needs to just declutter himself, and he'll be good. The real problem starts then. So 3, 4, 5, 6 is where the problem is, and again from 7 to 11 we are well sorted. But the problem is number 3 to number 6 we can't do anything because we don't have replacements. Rohit Sharma in today's press conference said that yes, he's not getting runs, but he also admitted that he's feeling good from within. So I feel that maybe he has his game sorted. It's just a matter of fact that one good innings or one good shot for that matter will just break the shackles and he'll get back to scoring. For Virat
Yeah,
Kohli, you
maybe similar to what Rohit should do is maybe follow the Travis Head template of batting at number 6 and try and get as many as he can while he is there.
absolutely.
Fancy some
And
chances. Yeah,
true. I mean, why? You see, if, it's better getting a quick fire 30 than getting a prolonged 10 runs only in 30 deliveries and going back to the pavilion. So the equation changes, the momentum of the game also really shifts that way. So I think Rohit Sharma should go back to bat the way he does. Talking about Shubman Gill, Virat Kohli, I think we don't really have any answers, right? Because the way they are playing, or if you look at a couple of deliveries before they get out, they look that they are in complete control of their innings. It's not that they are hesitating or they are getting stuck on the wicket. The kind of defense or the punches they play, it seems as if they have everything in control. But then it's that one ball where they suddenly lose everything and throw their wicket away. So I think it's just about spending some time out there in the middle. I think it's more of the mental part than it is about technique and all. So it's high time that they put their I wouldn't say hand up. They'll put their bat up and start scoring the runs for
absolutely.
India. But number 3, 4, 5, 6 is where the real problem lies. Because if your number 11 is scoring
Yeah,
30 runs, there's no reason why your number 3, 4, 5, 6 cannot score at least that many numbers. So seriously concerning matter, but hope that it comes good in the next two tests, considering these two are better venues than the first three where we played.
yeah, absolutely. And also the fact that Mr. Pant uh, uh, has not delivered it to his potential. That actually makes it more exciting because he'll be hungrier than ever to exploit the Melbourne and Sydney conditions. And let's hope to have a better result by the end of this series.
But you spoke about Pant, right? But when you have a player like Pant in the side, it's a given, right? That he will either hit or miss. There's nothing in between. So either he'll give you a fantastic 100, 150 odd, or he'll give you a 5-10 runs. There's nothing in between that. So I think you have to give him time, right? And you can't expect him to perform every innings. If you are
Absolutely.
taking a risk of having a player like Rishabh Pant in the side, you have to take it in your stride that there will be failures, or rather low scores. Let's not call it failures, low score. And you have to give it to them. And you can't only look at Pant, right? There's a guy who's played more than 100 test matches slotted above him. There's a guy who's leading the side after him. What about them? There's a guy who's been looked at as the next big thing in Indian cricket, who's averaging less than 30s or just about in the 30s outside Asia. There are a lot of questions which need to be answered, and you just
Absolutely.
can't make scapegoat out of one person, right? But
Yeah.
talking about yes,
Yeah. So
no, no, I'll
so
let you complete.
yeah. What you're saying is right. I think Pant. More than Panth, right? It's high time Gill and Virat deliver in the next 2 3 innings that we have because it's high time and and questions will be raised if the batting fails. And talking about Jadeja, who's on number 7, I think it's a positive that he has been able to score some runs and looked good while he batted. Uh, I think you are tending to go towards that topic, and I'll let you speak the next.
No, so Jadeja. I mean, even Rohit Sharma said it that it's not easy that you're out of the team or basically not in the playing 11. You suddenly come in a much pressure situation and start scoring runs. I think the time he came to bat, right, it was not an easy time to bat because wickets were consistently falling. He stitched a very important partnership with KL Rahul, which took us close to actually being there in a position to beat the follow on or basically avoid the follow on. If Jadeja would have fallen early, there was no chance we were looking at avoiding follow on. And more importantly,
Even
the way
even that Steve Smith catch that he dropped off KL Rahul. Thank you, Smith, for that. Yeah,
that was a dolly, that was similar to the Virat Kohli catch he had dropped in the previous series we've spoken about, right?
yeah, absolutely.
But talking about Jadeja, right, that the way he scored his runs. Nathan Lyon, when he was getting some turn, this guy sits down on one knee and is sweeping him confidently towards square leg deep mid wicket and getting boundaries. That shows that he's got his eye and he's batting with confidence, and that really makes a difference because we knew that
Absolutely.
overseas it's always about the batting depth, and we have tried everything. In 3 Test matches, all our 3 spinners have played one match each, more of looking at it from the batting side. Probably we were talking about Washi being the better batsman amongst these three, but Jadeja has suddenly emerged out of nowhere. People didn't really have a lot of expectations, but he's exceeded them well. The only problem for him is now people will expect that runs or those many runs at least from him. So now, if he doesn't perform, there will be a big wrap coming on him that Jadeja is not performing. So I think that's the only downside about it. But otherwise, Jadeja's innings, was he actually pulled out a rabbit out of the hat, right? No one expected.
Yeah.
He just played that innings, and everyone was happy, or rather relieved
Yeah.
more than anything else for that innings.
Also talking
But
about the bowlers, right? Are you happy with what Akash did in the third test?
better than Harshit Rana, you must say. I think, especially in the second innings, the way he bowled, he got 2 wickets early. I think the line in length, getting that lateral swing, what you are talking about, was really good. And I think it's about giving game time, right? We speak about all of these players, playing for X number of test matches, but you always need that consistency if you want a player to perform in a certain way. Not everyone is a Bumrah, or even Bumrah for that matter, got time to settle down and evolve. And I think under him, if Akashdeep can get that, nothing like it, because he's one of the bowlers. If Siraj is playing, Siraj is not someone who can what what you can say, make the batters dance to his tunes, right? He can push the batter back. I'm sorry, I think Siraj is not happy, but he can at least he can push the batters behind. He can sort of uh, make them jump up and down in terms of ducking the short deliveries or putting them on the. But when it comes to drawing the batter forward and then deceiving them with that lateral movement is what Akashdeep is capable. And you saw that in today's innings, Akashdeep opened with the new ball ahead of Mohammad Siraj. So I
Yeah.
think that's another good positive you need to look at, that the Indians are now slowly starting to, fix those pieces and complete the puzzle. If a Melbourne pitch is a lively one, and from one end there's Bumrah, other end there's Akashdeep, there's no chance why what India's score was of 40 for 4 or 5 can be the same for Australia as well. So I'm really excited to see the way Akashdeep goes. And all the bowlers, now they're slowly starting to coming into their own. Even Mohammad Siraj, who was looking out of shape in the third innings, especially, looked good when he bowled. You felt as if he's found his rhythm, and that is what these
Yeah.
players need to continue.
Yeah,
But
he
have you?
Siraj definitely found his way. In fact, there was something funny that we saw him do. He did the Stuart Broad trick of changing the bales and try his luck. And then once he was back to his runner, Labuschagne was smart enough to again change the bales back to their original position, and then the game
But he
went on.
eventually
So a little bit of banter between the two.
lost his wicket also after that. I mean,
Yeah, he
if
did that.
not, it's an effective plan to at least try, because something or the other will happen. But
Absolutely. Yeah.
coming
But
to your
really happy with his outing in the second innings. Wasn't sure if he was at his best in the first innings. Also, the head factor really was proving a tough thing for him. Went for a lot of runs in the first innings, but I'm happy with what he did in the second innings. So looks like the template is set for at least the Melbourne Test. We know who our three fast bowlers are going to be, and then there would be Nitish and Jadeja to probably take the place of fourth and the fifth bowlers. Looks like,
yeah, and
yeah.
talking about the bowlers, talking about spinners, from the happiness, right? It was a mixed emotions, because at one point you are happy to see the fact that India has finally managed to draw a test match and stay alive, not only in this series but in the World Test Championship final chances as well, right? I mean, at that moment itself came out a news which just had us teary eyes, right? And that was that Ravichandran Ashwin has retired from international cricket at an immediate basis. Middle of the series, Ashwin retiring. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I mean, it felt strange. It felt like a huge void has been left behind, and that too in the middle of the series. I would understand Ashwin retiring at the end of this series, or maybe by the end of the India-England series, if he would have been picked for that. But really strange. But like Rohit said, right, we have to completely respect what he thinks of himself as a cricketer and his career. So from that point of view, I think the decision is backed by the Indian support staff and management that it's the right time for him. In fact, Rohit also said that he Ashwin had spoken to Rohit on the day when Rohit had come to Australia. I think between the first test. So this was something which was in his mind for a long time, and I think Ashwin did realize that maybe the time is up now. There is Washi Sundar who is now going to be picked ahead of Ashwin, at least. If the conditions suit Washi, that's going to be the future. And maybe Ashwin's now what 38, nearing 39, so maybe the body is not suiting the grills of Test cricket now. Even if he is a spinner, he has bowled a lot in his career, more than 25,000 deliveries, so it's not a mean feat. He spin bowling is not an easy art. It's as gruesome, as deadly to the body as fast bowling or medium pace bowling. So, and also remember about Ashwin, it's not just picking wickets, but also scoring a lot of runs as well down the order. So it's not just about one dimension of his play. So completely support his decision. Though I feel that he has left a big void, but at the same time, I feel that he is going to be passing on his legacy through Washi Sundar in the years to come, and he definitely will be missed, especially in Test cricket. When he was, I still feel that the peak of Ashwin in overseas tests was yet to come. Meaning he's done well, obviously, but I thought that his peak was about to come. The next 2 years could have been possibly his best 2 years in maybe Sena countries, but Ashwin is the real judge of his own fitness and what he feels of his own body. I think it's more to do with fitness and the emergence of the likes of Washi that may have forced him to take this decision that he wants to quit. However, the good thing is IPL. The good thing is IPL, and we still will see Ashwin play franchise cricket for at least the next 3 or 4 or maybe even 5 years, and continue his legacy of being a mastermind cricketer. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts, Rishabh? I know you are a huge Ashwin fan, so what are your thoughts on Ashwin? Please don't cry.
like I said right that at one point you are happy about the fact that India has drawn a test match and they're alive in the series, and on the other side, because there were news while the test match was going on also, especially on the last day today, there was news that something is happening. From somewhere people had already started tweeting that at least one big player, or there is a big news coming, someone is going to retire. People from somewhere had seen that while going back to the dressing room, Rohit Sharma had kept his gloves behind the side screen. Kohli had kept it outside somewhere. So all sort of speculations were there. And then suddenly came a shot on camera where while the rains were pouring down, Ravi Ashwin is sitting in the dressing room with Kohli. They spoke something and Kohli hugged Ashwin. So at that moment, you felt that okay, maybe it's Kohli who's stepping down, or something like that. And by that time, you had started to realize that okay, someone, but no one expected Ashwin because he's not even playing, and it's not that he has a bad patch or something. Suddenly, in the post-match press conference, when you saw Rohit Sharma and behind him was Ravichandran Ashwin, you knew that okay. But still, until he said that I am quitting, you were somewhere, or rather, I was somewhere not ready to accept the fact that okay, it is Ashwin. You know, like a child, right? At one point, I felt that okay, maybe Ashwin is accompanying Rohit. Rohit will say that I am hanging my boots or something like that. Still chance, until Ashwin actually said it. So it was
You
very
almost
emotional
you
moment.
almost you are almost praying that Rohit might
Okay, I won't
hang
say I was
his.
actually praying. If I really had to pray, I was praying none of them. But since it had to come, I think I didn't expect Ashwin to do it this way. For a player of his caliber and what he's done for the Indian team, he deserved a better farewell. Obviously, uh, maybe if he had to, he could have done it at the Wankhede Test or the Chepauk Test. Because in a home series at home, you're getting a grand reception. You need to get the credit for the kind of service you have given. So I still feel that it was too early for Ashwin. I think not the right time. But the way he foxes the batters with his carom ball, this time he got the whole of the cricketing world foxed completely. We were waiting for the ball to come in and sort of ready for that drive. The ball just pitched left us, caught an edge, and straight away all of us were like caught behind. Not. I mean, you
Yeah,
feel as if there's a lot to say, but still you can't say anything. I don't know. I
absolutely.
mean,
So there is definitely a lot to say, and we'll do a separate episode on Ashwin maybe in a couple of days. While we have some time, and before you travel to Melbourne, we'll definitely do a couple of, or maybe one episode celebrating the career of Ashwin. But just one quick thought before we end the episode is, what is your favorite moment from Ashwin's career that you can quickly recollect and just explain or just elaborate a little bit on?
okay, so it's very difficult to pick one. I am not very good with numbers and not very good with remembering innings. But if I talk about Ravichandran Ashwin, right, I break him down into three facets. One is batting. So the cricketer which he's a batter, he's a bowler, and the third is he's a thinker. So all three, right? Each one of them. So when it comes to batting, I think the 6 Test centuries he's got, especially the last one he got here, and the one he got against England on a turning track, right? More than that, what I remember is that leave against Pakistan, the famous game which Kohli's
Of
sort of
course,
that leave and that last shot just over the mid of fielder. That's the batter. When it comes to the bowler, the last over in the Champions Trophy which we won 2013. There are a lot, but something which just keeps rotating in my mind, or just keeps roaming in my mind. The last over in the Champions Trophy final,
Yes.
especially that last ball, six were required to win off one ball, and the way he came, that delivery where he just in his run up just stops and then
Stopped.
he delivered that. So that is Ashwin the bowler. When it comes to Ashwin, the brainy person that he is, that man against Josh Butler and this celebration. So you see, Ashwin is someone where who is giving you moments. You know, he's a cricketer who stayed in the rule books yet challenged the rule books. Right? He never broke any rules, but ensured that all the rules which he's following are not even or basically he's not doing something outside of it also. So he challenged the rule makers also, as well as the guys who are following the rules as well. So it's
Yeah.
very like you said, it's a big void. It's not a big void only with the bat in hand or the ball in hand, but it's a big void with this also, which the Indian team needs to fill, and it's going to be really difficult to find a player of his caliber.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that point, right, what I feel, Rishabh, is like Shane Warne, he's the best captain we never had in Test cricket. Like for Australia, how Shane Warne was the best captain Australia never had. So I feel the same about R. Ashwin for India.
And it's our
Also, if you
loss.
ask me, it's our
It's
loss
not his.
definitely. Is definitely not. Also, one thing that I can point out as my favorite Ashwin moment. I think there were a couple of them in last edition's BGT in Australia, where I think the first thing was obviously the Sydney draw with both Hanuma Vihari and Ashwin injured. Ashwin not um, being able to sit anywhere in the dressing room, and he continues to stand until his chance for batting turns up. He has a painkiller, goes to the field, and he's determined to save the Test match for India. The other thing was obviously the the conversation he had with Tim Payne on who ends whose career where, and I thought that was pretty courageous and something that stuck to me always as a very gutsy bowler, not just a bowler, a cricketer who always wanted to leave a mark on the cricket field and at the same time make sure that India wins. And I think I've just gone through some of the stats. It seems he has got probably he's only behind probably Kohli and Tendulkar in terms of the number of test wins that he has participated in. And obviously, the whole world knows that he has got the most man of the series tournament awards in Test cricket. So we'll do a separate session, no doubt, on just R. Ashwin because of the kind of player he was. And everybody, including former players like Anil Kumble, Matthew Hayden, have spoken a lot about the legacy that he leaves behind. All of a sudden, but we've got like about a week's time to prepare ourselves, think about it that Ashwin is not going to play Test cricket anymore for India, and come back cheering for our Indian team again for the next two tests. All right, with that, I think we should end this session, and we'll come back with a session only on R Ashwin in a couple of days, and speak again later. Thank you, Rushabh. Take care.
Bye bye.